second hour in this week's special Labor Day edition of World Crisis Radio. And at this point, we want to give our usual weekly update on the main front in the legal battle to make Obama prove that he is eligible to be president of the United States. In other words, the fight to get the U.S. Constitution respected, because that's all it is, right? The Constitution is not a delicatessen where you pick the parts you like and ignore the parts you don't like. Some people thought that Bush was violating some parts of the Constitution, and indeed he was, but now we have other parts that are being violated by Obama, so we want to shine the bright light of publicity on that, and there's no better way than to bring in the leader of the movement, the founder and leader of this movement, to make Obama produce his birth certificate and otherwise come clean on his citizenship, because there are other issues there, too, just beyond the mere birth certificate itself. And that, of course, is Philip Berg of Philadelphia, who is a former Democratic Party candidate for Senate and governor in Pennsylvania, former Democratic state committeeman for Pennsylvania, former Democratic county chairman of Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, and an activist in many, many progressive movements over the last 10 years. Phil, welcome.
My pleasure. How you doing?
We're glad to have you as always, and we're hoping for an update. And we want to get our calendars out and see what's coming up ahead now in the autumn term of the various courts.
Well, we have that date, October 26th, but I'm hoping that's for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals on the standing issue. This is to hide everyone out there. It's Phil Berg, and our website is obamacrimes.com, 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 and we've been updating that. We have a new front page on there, and I direct people to go there. And the most important thing we can do now is spread the word on this whole issue. We're trying, and maybe Webster or one of your listeners can help. We're trying to get on the agenda to speak at the 9/12 event in Washington, D.C., but we haven't been successful. Now, part of the people there don't want anything to do with us, which is crazy because they're talking about things that are going on in the Obama administration, and if I'm correct, there should be no Obama administration. So we're working on that. But I have three cases pending. The one is on the standing issue, and like I said, that's on argument scheduled in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia on October 26th. As we get close to that date, we'll confirm it or not. We have the Hollister case, which is the retired Air Force colonel, and that case on appeal to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. And then we have the current case, which we're waiting for a hearing on, and we're surprised the judge hasn't scheduled it yet. That's on the False Claims Act case or the Qui Tem case. We're alleging there that Obama is an illegal alien. Therefore, not only can he be president, but it was illegal for him to be a U.S. Senator from Illinois, and therefore $1 million in salary and benefits should go back to the U.S. Treasury. So on that, we're waiting because we have filed for, as I think I mentioned last week, the judge dismissed the case. Now the case is open. We can discuss it. It's unsealed. We filed a motion for reconsideration. We found a statute stating that there's a conflict of interest. There's a major conflict of interest, in our opinion, between Attorney General Eric Holder. I mean, if there's no conflict of interest with him, then there's no conflict of interest anyplace because he was on the campaign of Barack Obama, number one. Number two, he was one of three individuals selected to be on the selection committee for vice president, which ended up selecting Joe Biden. Number three, she works. The third thing is that Holder became Attorney General, and he was confirmed by the Senate, and that's the highest law enforcement agent in the country, which also gives advice to the president. Now, that's significant because Eric Holder just recently has appointed a special prosecutor. So I say if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. But he just appointed a special prosecutor in the to look into the CIA, and the president said he's completely independent. Well, if he's really independent, then this particular case he should either give to me to proceed as a relator on it, or appoint a special prosecutor on the case. Because my position is that Eric Holder refuses to prosecute Obama because of his friendship and close proximity with him. So that's the
so
major
basically,
issue.
Phil, if I've understood, your position is that Holder obviously knows what a special prosecutor is because he's now instituted one on this CIA torture stuff, but only for the little fish and ignoring Cheney, Addington, you, and all the rest of these ogres. But he knows what it is, so therefore let him in a much more politically charged case even than the CIA, because it goes directly to his boss, Obama. He should put up an independent prosecutor, independent counsel.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely, he should do that, and if he doesn't do that, it's real sham, And so we're hoping. I think we've given the judge a perplexing question, because last time, after both sides filed their briefs, the judge scheduled a hearing right away. This one's like over a month old, so we'll probably file another request for a hearing for the judge to try to expedite the matter. But
Very
that's
good.
the threat.
So
but
what we know
again,
so far is October 26th in Philadelphia. Mark your calendars if you're anywhere around, because a little moral support always helps.
Sure,
Concerning this Tea Party on September 12th, the people controlling the agenda, of course, are the Freedom Works people. That would be Dick Armey, a very well-heeled, very rich lobbyist here in Washington. It's amazing. And in this apparatus, the Republican operatives don't come forward saying, I'm a Republican operative. They say, I'm from Freedom Works, I'm from the Heartland Institute, I'm from the Richard Mellon Scaife Economic Strategy Institute, or whatever this thing is called. So it's basically a bunch of Republicans in drag, and they always say, this is not partisan, this is not about Republicans versus Democrats, but then in practice, that's what it seems to be. In other words, what they're doing is attempting to create a movement that they can essentially dupe in the way that Obama duped his Kool-Aid cult and ride that back into power. Now, up to a point, obviously what they do is useful, right, to some extent. But I would say what we ought to do is say to Dick Armey and the Freedom Works people, if you are the nonpartisan public interest, we the people group that you claim to be, then how can you ignore this entire birth certificate question, which is really one of the things that opened the door to them? Because if you remember the chronology this summer, it was really this birth certificate business that really got going in late July, early August. That was the immediate prelude to the mass entrance of the teabaggers into the town meeting. So I think it's time to hold their feet to the fire. In other words, to say, you guys put up or shut up.
I've heard from many people that at these health care questions, Tea Party, the forums that are going on by congressmen all across the country, that the issue of the birth certificate is being raised. People are bringing signs, but the media is not reporting it. So we just have to get this topic out in the open. I know a lot of people on the birth certificate issue are going to Washington, but I'm going to go if I can get on the agenda. I'm trying hard, and that's where we are now.
Let's try, and let's make sure we have a presence. I mean, I think it's important to be there with at least handouts, a lot of leaflets, some signs, and a clump of people who are going to be there, putting out something different than what you're going to hear from Dick Armey.
Right, but they should go with this, and I don't know. I'm working on. I'm going to make a call right now, matter of fact, to Freedom Works and see what I can do.
Right, because they're the ones. And again, if they want to be what they claim they are, then here's a great chance for them to show it, right, and not just have doctrinaire reactionaries, but also others, right? Because that's what they claim.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on your show, but for your listeners out there, if you can go to my website, obamacrimes.com, send it to everyone you know. We need more and more people in this country to be aware of this. I think when people are aware of the fact that he hasn't even produced a birth certificate, when you have to produce it many times, they'll be with us. It's obamacrimes.com, and Webster, I thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll see you next week, Phil. And in the meantime, go to Freedom Works and tell them that Phil Berg should speak. Back in a minute.
And send some money to Obama.
And send some money.
Thank you.